And we have with us on the phone retired NYPD Detective Steve Kardian. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us.
My pleasure, Mary. Thank you.
As we continue to take a look at pictures, some of them just coming into the newsroom, can you tell us what you would imagine would be happening right now at NYPD headquarters to try to find this person?
Well, certainly they're tending and continuing to tending with the injured. They're securing that scene so they can obtain as much evidence as possible. And they're going forward reviewing video surveillance that is widespread across the city. So when he came in and when he left, and his direction of travel is going to be on film somewhere. It appeared to be quite organized. He attacked at the peak time, 8:30 in the morning, rush hour traffic. And he came with devices, a diversionary device being a smoke bomb, and he opened up on fire on the passengers. They were like sitting ducks.
Steve, does it give you any type of profile, just those things that you've mentioned right there, the fact that it was premeditated, that he used an incendiary device to create a distraction before the shooting? Does that give you any type of immediate profile, someone in your profession that might be like, okay, this is the type of person we're looking for?
Right now, it could be anybody. It could be a terrorist. It could be a lone wolf, which it certainly, regardless of what his status is, it appears to be a lone wolf at this time because we haven't had another incident. Time will tell if anything else or anything additional happens. So time is on our side right now that this will be the only event.
How scary is it, the fact that this person is still out there on the loose after perpetrating an act like this?
Certainly, by means of what he did, he's not worried about killing or injuring mass amounts of people. So it is certainly a concern that he will act again or at some time in the future.
And as you see the details that have come out so far in these early stages of the investigation, this looks like an orchestrated attack to you?
Yes, it does.
And premeditated when it comes to the gas mask was on, the reflective vest was on, and the questions now as to where this person could have gone, and it is a vast area, you would imagine.
Oh, certainly. New York City is huge, but the thing that we've got going for us is that the NYPD, the FBI, the ATF, Homeland Security, and all the other agencies, including the Joint Terrorist Task Force, are going to be on this and on it until they catch this guy.
And Steve, I'm going to ask you, because as we just mentioned, there are cameras everywhere. You cannot do anything without being videotaped in the city. How long does something like this take to be able to acquire that video, find out where that path is, where this person started, and where he potentially is now?
They have teams out there right now acquiring that videotape footage, and it will be a short period of time before they're able to put that together and get an idea where he came from, the videotape of him in the subway, perhaps on the train, and his direction and level of flight.
We've always talked about this type of thing, an attack on mass transit, being kind of a worst-case scenario here. Is that kind of one of those things? Is this the type of act where it's tough to defend because with this lone wolf, like we've mentioned, with it being a premeditated attack, it's tough to stop everything?
Any type, there's a blitz type of an attack where you just don't see it coming, there is no warning, it's very difficult to defend. People they're not expecting it. They're on their way to work.
Yeah.
It's the least thing that's on their mind. And when it happens, it's very chaotic.
We're just into the newsroom that we are expecting a news conference from the NYPD in just a short time. But Steve, if I could just ask you, a number of devices were questionable at the very beginning, and people were calling in suspicious packages. None of those were seen to be anything explosive and unfounded. However, is this something that normally would happen after an incident like this, when, you know, all hands out on deck and the call is out to see if you see anything suspicious to call in?
Oh, yes. And anytime something like this happens, that anything and everything is now become suspect. People automatically become more alert, more aware. They're looking at things that they ordinarily wouldn't look at, and they're reporting things that are likely going to turn out to be nothing unless they're evident that they are some sort of a mechanical device that could cause injury.
And Steve, with that being said, how quickly is the NYPD, I guess the FBI, ATF, everyone who's investigating, because time is of the essence right now, how quickly can they clear that noise of things that people are just reporting that they wouldn't have normally seen to get to the heart of the matter, of the facts that they need in order to apprehend a suspect who's on the loose like this?
They have more than enough quality manpower, and the agencies work together very well today in our world. So they're going to be able to discredit. They've got experts on the scene that can automatically or in relatively short time determine whether something is a danger or not.
And as we continue to look at these pictures, the live pictures on your left and then video from the commuters on your right, I wanted to ask you, this is an incident that the NYPD, the FBI, the ATF, they train for and even train jointly.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they work together very well. And we've had enough incidents going back over the years where there were terror-related incidents similar to this on the subway in which we had a rather quick resolution to, a quick disposal to.
As we're taking a look at the pictures, I am, it really just can't believe what's happening and what we are seeing and how commuters stayed. They didn't run. They stayed to help those who were hurt. You can see people helping people off the train. It is quite remarkable to see even people putting tourniquets on fellow passengers. And at this kind of time, this is when New Yorkers come together and really assist. And Steve, I just wanted to ask you, at this point, what are you thinking the investigation is going? Are we calling in other units as well at this time, do you think, in New York?
Well, like I said, there's many agencies that are involved. They're working in concert with one another. They all have a specific area of responsibility or expertise, so they know what to do. It's occurred here before, and they're going to put it together quite quickly. How long it takes to find this individual is still left to be seen, but it couldn't be in any better investigative hands right now.
You feel confident, though, that this suspect's probably going to have a hard time escaping the fact that there are so many cameras in the area and so many people with phones that have just been documenting what's been on the train so far. It's probably only a matter of time before a clean shot of this person comes in.
Oh, I do. I think that they're going to be on him rather quickly. I mean, you're in Times Square. They have video cameras that could read your cell phone or your watch to see what time it is.
Yeah.
That's how good it is.
And is there a sense of what video cameras might be in that area? Do you have any idea about something like that, even the subway station?
Any turn or any any place you go, pretty much right now in today's world, Big Brother's watching. You're on camera.
And that is good when it comes to situations like this. Steve, thank you.
Thank you
very much for taking a couple of minutes and providing your expertise. And we hope we can continue talking with you throughout the morning here as this continues to evolve here this morning. But Steve, thank you very much.